Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Stephen Nooner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome to The Next Level, conversations that propel business. I'm your host, Stephen Nooner.
And this is Bob Gibbons, and we're here with another great guest this week. And we're excited to talk to Suresh Narayanan. Did I screw that up, by the way?
Yeah, Narayanan. Close,
Narayanan.
close though. Yeah.
It's only been 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I told you we're going to screw up and we'll just keep on going. So Suresh is the founding partner with Aerospace Quality R&D. And it's a real interesting company because they are an FAA-approved engineering and component repair company for aircrafts. And he and his brother Raj are the owners of that, and they're doing some really cool stuff. So we're looking forward to having you on the show. Welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Welcome, and their website is aerospaceqrd.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always covering me.
I got your back. So since we're off to a great start with your name, we always like to start with wisdom of others. Okay. I liked your quote, so we're going to go with yours today. There are no asterisks in life, only scoreboards. And that's a quote from the HBO show Entourage, which is first for this show.
We've never had that.
One of my favorite shows. Yep.
So tell me what that means to you.
So in the business world, I love that quote, and it sticks out. The guy Ari Gold in Entourage, said it one time, and it stuck with me because everyone talks about effort and trying and circumstances and business or even personal. And at the end of the day, I kind of look at it as, did you get to the goal or not? It's a little harsh sometimes, and I do it to myself often.
Yeah.
I'm like, great, we tried something, we made a good effort, or even dealing with my team, efforts can be appreciated. But at the end of the day, the scoreboard is all that matters. You either did it or you didn't. And so it's kind of my business motto that keeps me honest. And did I get there or not? It's one or the other.
So the asterisk is the excuse.
Yep. There's no asterisks. You can't say, well, we almost got there, but this happened. You either did it all and you won the game, or you didn't.
That was always interesting to me, and when it comes to employees and how to structure compensation for employees whenever there's a bonus involved. How do you structure that bonus in a way that really reflects their efforts without all those asterisks? And whenever in my last company, we always had the asterisks, and everybody at the end of the day, they all tried to sort of handicap it as to, oh, well, I should get this because, well, that thing, that I didn't really have any control over that thing. But they don't get that. The employee mindset and the owner mindset seem to be very different when it comes to the asterisk.
No, definitely, especially in a smaller growing business. So with employees, and one of my first pillars in business is people first. No matter what the product, I love the people side first. So I find getting with people and being transparent of goals, agreeing on them, and actually sitting down. I do it once a month with every single employee. Is really important. So that way, when they walk into a situation where we're talking about compensation or a move, it isn't a surprise. It should never be a surprise.
Yeah.
And so I spend more time with people in our company than any other process or task I have, because that's the most important thing. And when you do that, even as we grow, it gets harder and more time consuming. It gives them the best chance to understand what's going on and how to get there. Because at the end of the day, I want them to get there. I want them to grow, and we want them to be successful.
So you have 37 people, right?
Yep.
So I that's pretty impressive to me. We've got right about 20.
Okay.
And I mean, I that much time with every single person. So what does that look like? I'm just really curious.
How
much
much
that
time?
conversation? Yeah.
About a half an hour.
Okay.
And I won't budge from it. I make it happen. Yes, I shuffle schedules all the time.
Sure.
And some months I'm bad at it. I miss some. But for the most part, if they're off-site employees, we'll get on a phone call. Some of them are 5 minutes. Some of them end up being an hour. But it gives me an idea of what's going on with the business and what we can do better. And it allows us to close the door and say, what can I work on? As a leader, here's your shot. You can tell me what you want from us, and we'll make it happen. And that way it's not kind of a top-down business where employees are sitting around and they just wait till some initiative or directive comes. It gives them kind of a stake in the game, and then I can help them act like owners and really drive where the company goes.
So you said those that are here, how many of those employees are here in your local office in DFW versus somewhere else in the country?
So about 98% of our employees are here. We have a couple who actually office offsite at clients of ours, aircraft operators, and they're integrated with the team over there. And so we'll jump on the phone or fly them down once in a while to keep in touch.
So do you have a specific, or is it random? Like, do you facilitate kind of the same conversation every time? Is there a series of questions you ask them, or is it?
It's usually a check-in. How are things going? I usually ask them, what are the 2 biggest challenges you've had the last month? I try to throw different ones every month depending on what's on my mind. So like if I gave you ownership of the company right now, what is one thing you would change? And it opens up dialogue, and it takes time because some employees, different sectors, different backgrounds are shocked when the owner sits down and says, what can I work on? And they're like, well, I get a shot at you. And some of them say nothing, but the next month they start saying, well, I wish we did this, or can we do this?
Building trust.
And I've even found sometimes, like, because we do something similar in a different format, but I found some of my people, when I did that, they couldn't answer. But if I gave them the question and let them think about it, then they could do it. But right on the spot, it was like, they had nothing, but if I give them a little time to marinate, hey, we're going to meet and this is what we're going to talk about, just the way their minds work, they had more time to marinate it and they came with something.
By the next time, they have an answer for it. I ask them the same question again.
Oh, do you? Okay.
What is one thing you would change? And they kind of know I have some default questions, and then they may have some concerns or things they want to talk about. Or a lot of them have interests outside their role, and they want to know, hey, why are we doing this? What's this new airplane on the tarmac? Where did that customer come from? And as much as I can tell them that they are intrigued with, I'll give them that information.
One thing I did my last company, I was not an owner, I was middle manager, but I had a lot of people that worked for me. And so what I would do whenever we had the evaluations, which I always hated those, but you have to do them on a certain frequency by policy or whatever, I would always tell them in advance, hey, this is your opportunity to evaluate me as much as it is me evaluating you. And that kind of threw them for a while. And so, yeah, we had to give them that notice.
When do I get that? I would like to evaluate you.
That's another show, and I don't know that it'll be a half-hour show. We might have to split that up into a series.
And that's tough, right? Because owners have egos sometimes, and they don't always want to hear what's wrong with them. But I'm trying to create more of an open environment where, as long as it's professional, let me know what I can work on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a younger owner. I have a lot to learn. And usually I think the people in different roles in the company are the best resource to learn from.
Well, speaking of younger, congratulations on being named to the 40 under 40 in the Dallas Business Journal.
Thank you.
That's a big thing, big honor. So take us back a little bit. How did the company get started?
So my brother Rod started the company. He's the engineering genius behind everything. In about 2002, he finished working at some big corporations in the aerospace sector. He's an engineer by trade and started consulting on his own. Kind of going back a little bit on the family side, my dad was the original entrepreneur, moved to the States as a Concorde mechanic, and was in aviation before any of us.
Concorde as in the
old supersonic jet.
Yeah,
oh my
wow.
goodness. That's huge.
And so he turned wrenches, moved to the States in Miami, Florida. That's where I grew up. But he started his own company. So he beat all of us to it. My mom worked with him on the accounting side. They grew their company. They exited. Now they're retired in Boca Raton, and they're happily ever after.
Congrats.
But the aerospace sector, for us, aviation is a passion because it's the family business.
Sure.
So I dipped out of the family business and worked in healthcare, food service, you name it, I did it. But I knew I'd come back to aviation eventually. I went and got my master's and went and did my own thing. My dad would always ask me, so when are you coming back to aviation? Talking to Raj as he grew his company, and he was just consulting for a while, I realized he had this product and this vision that was amazing to me. And he's the artist of the company, but I thought, I can come scale this. It's kind of like having the first iPhone before anyone knew what it was. I'm like, this is neat. You're the only one who can do this right now, and the way you're doing things is challenging the norm in the last 20 years. And I was pretty young, so I'm like, what do I have to lose? Let's just rock the aerospace sector and come up with a new concept. So we teamed up, 2 people in a living room, 4 total partners of the engineering company, a couple other engineers. We had to say, look, we don't have anything to give you right now, but let's grow this together, and you'll look back and I'm going to say I told you so, which I can do now finally. But we grew the company with 4 folks and started growing it more, got an office, and then scaled it up to two divisions. Basically, one does engineering and one does actual component repairs. We did it with 0 debt, 0 outside investors, and basically did it as a team. And I think it came from the entrepreneurial passion we have to do something different. My passion for people, Raj's kind of technical knowledge, and like I told you guys before, he's my Steve Jobs, and he calls me kind of his Warren Buffett, and we kind of divide and conquer. So that's how I got into it, and it was a big risk, big reward. At the time, I jumped into it with, if I'm going to do the entrepreneurial thing, now's the time. But I knew we could be successful together.
So what's different about what you guys are doing versus what was being done before?
So the easiest way to kind of compare it is the auto industry. If I told you if your car is out of warranty and you have to go back to the dealership every time it breaks, and no matter what they say you have to do it, is you can't drive your car.
Right.
You would laugh, take your car and go to AutoZone, do it yourself, find a different option.
Sure.
In the aerospace sector, I found in commercial corporate jets, 90-something% of people who own these airplanes are going back to the manufacturer and just listening to what they say. Now, airplanes a little more sensitive. There's no check engine light, right?
Sure.
So it's highly regulated. So we knew how to navigate that, and as a third party, do the engineering because it's all tech data driven. You need a piece of paper to tell you what to do before you just touch an airplane. We could do that and sign it off. That was the first part of our business, and we were private citizens designated by the FAA. So we had the golden stamp. We knew certification, and we could do something away from the original manufacturer. So now we can align with the owner and do what's in the best interest of them. As we grew that, everyone was like, well, I'm tired of going back to the dealership, quote unquote, every time. I want more of AQRD solutions all the time. And so I had more people asking for help than I had people to support it. And the vision was think outside the box, hire folks that have turned wrenches on airplanes and propose practical solutions and don't over-engineer anything. And so we grew that division. And then 3 years ago, people were like, well, I like that I get the engineering data. Can you also just fix the part for me and just give it back to me so I can install in an airplane? So we vertically integrated and expanded, and now we have 2 hangars that do repairs and alterations on the part. So someone who owns an airplane can send it to us or a part, and we'll get it all done, sign off on everything. It's FAA legal, and then you get it back ready to install and go fly.
Did the companies, the airplane companies, was that even business that they wanted? I mean, were you able to sneak up on them? I mean, were they
waiting for you?
Were they waiting for you? I mean,
they were shocked. So a lot of it's customer education. We went after some big operators initially, some corporate charters and airlines, and they had the old mentality of, you can't do that. We're going back to your original manufacturer. They were shocked that we could do it. And a lot of they need a warm and fuzzy. I mean, we're touching airplanes and important parts.
Yeah.
It took almost like a dating phase where we got to know each other, and they would ask FAA people about us. So reputation came into play.
Sure.
And then they started to get confident, because in the engineering world, it's all about confidence, not black and white.
Yeah.
And then eventually they said, we'll give you a shot on this. Oh, that worked pretty well, and you guys were fast, and you brought a service level that we'd never seen before.
Sure.
I could call Suresh on a Saturday, and he actually picks up, versus a lot of folks in the industry, about 4 o'clock on a Friday, you're done. And we grew it from that. And so it takes a lot of customer education. It still does. A lot of challenges are, we take our success, we try to share it with other owners, and they're still hesitant because we're not the original manufacturer. Everyone wants a dealership repair when it's free. Right. And then the challenge is getting that word out and then having them understand it, because they're not aviation folks, and not making them nervous.
So if you're designing the solution, you're creating the solution, actually building it, installing it, and then you're also signing off on it as the FAA rep that you said you have the golden ticket. Is that not a conflict of interest?
No, because our engineering company is separate from our repair station. So on our engineering company, we have engineers sign off on the tech data, and then it goes to our repair station, which is completely separate, different quality department, different requirements, and they'll sign off on the physical work on the part. And so they're completely separate. Us as business owners have no say in what happens on the quality side, and that's how I take myself away from having any influence. Because of course, naturally I want them to put out product, but it has to be safe and of the highest quality, and that's why I have people check and balance that, and it's their signature on the piece of paper. So if they don't want to sign it, they don't have to.
Are there times where you should say no to new clients? Stick around for Suresh's perspective.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand. And landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors, and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's texastenantrep.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Stephen Nooner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
Hi, I'm Paula Lambert. I'm the owner of the Mozzarella Company in Deep Ellum, and I've been making cheese for 35 years. And I want you to tune in next week with these cute guys so you can know all about the cheese, glorious cheese.
And we're back with Suresh Narayanan, COO.
That was no better than mine.
Co-founder. Was it better or no?
It was better, but we still have some
Don't
work to do.
pander to him.
No.
I was just going to go just say Suresh. With Aerospace Quality R&D, please visit them, aerospaceqrd.com. Welcome back.
All right. So one of the things I was interested in is, we talked about the service you provide and how you do all these different things, and it's so much better. First of all, who is your ideal client?
Ideal client is folks who own fleets of airplanes. So the airlines are one great client of ours, and usually the smaller airlines, and then the charter fleets. So the folks in the world that buy a bunch of corporate jets and they go rent it out to folks, that's the best way to reach the masses. Now, we help a lot of one-off operators and one-off jet owners, but the fleet folks are the Part 135 charter companies of the world, the ones we really reach out to.
Now, I noticed on your website you have Part 132 and 135 and 145 and whatever. I'm probably getting the numbers wrong, but what does all that mean?
FAA regulations. So a Part 145 means repair station, and there's regulations under that you have to follow. So you could reference on the FAA website Part 145 regs. Part 135 is your charter. So if you ever charter an airplane or a jet, they operate under those rules. And then Part 121 is your typical airline. They operate under those rules.
So the individual person who owns, a Cessna or whatever, that's probably not your target client.
Not my target. They operate under Part 91, general aviation. We'll help them if we can, like on the airport, in Addison Airport, where we actually office from. If someone needs help, we're going to help them. We don't want to leave them stranded. It's more of a courtesy. But overall, we're not marketing to the general aviation population. It's mainly the charter fleets.
Okay. And is this nationwide, or is this just pretty much regional to Texas?
Nationwide. So from the West Coast, the East Coast, slowly some overseas. People fly airplanes over there.
Sure.
Down in Mexico, I was there a couple of months ago. Basically, whoever needs help, and they operate under the FAA regulations we do. So a lot of U.S. registered airplanes that operate elsewhere, we'll help them.
So before we went to the break, I used kind of as a teaser, you had shared that you had to actually, your business has been successful enough, you had to recently say no to some new customers. Tell me about that. What were the indicators? What kind of brought you to that conclusion?
And so my general business view, if it's aerospace or any other industry that I'm part of in terms of being a business owner, I don't always want to be the vendor or the commodity to the customer. I want to find a way to partner with the customer and really work with them in their best interest.
Sure.
So doing that, we had so many people start learning about what we do, and half the battle is the technical side, but half it's the service we provide. We're very responsive, very respectful,
right,
in a space that's very much old-fashioned. And so we want it to be over the top with service engineering and just communication. To do that takes a lot of work. And so if a customer needs an airplane or something done quickly and I can't deliver that, a lot of people won't say that. They'll say, we can probably get it done, as most sales folks do. And I decided to say, let's just be transparent with them. If we can get it done on a Wednesday, let's say we're going to get it done on Wednesday, but the rule is just do what you say you're going to do. And it applies to everyone in our company. If you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. There's some exceptions here and there, but no asterisks, right?
Right.
You got to hit it or you don't. And so what that does, though, is if I get customers overflowing us or asking for too many requests, we have to be honest with what we can support as a smaller business. So if we couldn't support it, we would say, no, we can't deliver on that timeline. Even though it pains me to do that, it builds good customer loyalty and they develop a trust with us. There's also some circumstances where we're not the best fit for that solution, and they should go back to a dealership because it's so complex that they have proprietary data that I don't. And we'll tell them that and be honest. Even though I hate to lose the business, it builds a good trust because we'll get the next project.
So let's be honest about that. So was that something that you just had the foresight to do, or did you have to burn your hand on the stove a couple times and to kind of say, hey, I got to do it differently?
I think a lot of what I've learned in my business here is just be completely transparent. One of my mottos is just do what you say you're going to do.
Sure.
It sounds simple, but a lot of people don't do that. They love to overcommit and overpromise. So I decided if I had control over it, I never wanted to do that. I wanted to have a service level that people could trust, and that develops a relationship so they can call me and they trust what I'm going to say, not that I'm overpromising or trying to find a way to say yes. I want to say yes, but I also want to deliver stuff on time.
Right.
So how do your customers find out about you?
A lot of word of mouth. So just, we fix a solution for one owner or operator or a fleet, and they go, hey, I heard what you did with this client. Can you help us with this solution? Or it's all word of mouth, relationship business. We don't have a typical marketing or sales department. Raj and I do the majority of our sales and marketing, and we have a obtuse marketing strategy. Instead of your average kind of social media advertising kind of play, we own and operate 3 special aircraft and 2 Beach Starships and 1 T-33. The Beach Starships aren't supported by the OEM anymore. It's an all composite, funny looking airplane, and we decided that's going to represent who we are as a company. There's no support for it, so we have to maintain it on our own, turn our own wrenches, make our own parts, do our own repairs, without any help from anyone on the outside.
And I will say I've been to your website, and that Beechcraft that you were talking about, the Starliner, did you call it?
Starship.
Starship.
Yep.
Cool plane. It's a turboprop pusher.
Yep.
Pusher.
It looks totally obtuse.
So if anybody wants to go to aerospaceqrd.com, their website, and there are videos about it. There's other information about it. But what's cool about that, there was only a handful of those made.
About in the 50s.
50s.
Yep.
And how many of those are left
4.
still in operation?
4, and we have 2. And it's
You have 2 of them.
very capable airplane, but it's all composite, and we're composite guys. Like the Dreamliner is new, but the Starship's been around a long time. And so we pull up to clients right in front of them with the Starship. And unlike maybe a corporate jet or a Gulfstream, it says, look at these guys flying something they're passionate about. If they can keep that thing flying with no support, they can fix anything we have.
And it's well known in the industry that that's not supported by the manufacturer anymore?
Exactly, yes. And so the maintenance side of aviation, they know what it is. They know it's unique. And so it doesn't come off as we're traveling private. It comes off as these guys really love aviation because you have to be borderline crazy to want to support that yourself versus just selling it and grabbing a normal airplane that's supported by everyone else.
It's the, I don't know if you read the book, Seth Godin, The Purple Cow. I mean, it's like that's the...
It's like the DeLorean of our day, basically.
So people that are really your customer, that know the industry and know aircraft, they know it instantly. In fact, how long has it been since the manufacturer supported that plane?
Before I was born, probably. It's been a long time. I think
Wow.
it really didn't have a business case. There were some acquisitions between 2 entities, and so they really stopped supporting it because there wasn't a business case for it. It was well before its time.
Interesting.
So you're a young guy in business. Congrats again on the 40 under 40. I mean, things are going well for you guys. One thing that I thought was really fascinating, you said that you're challenged a lot with success and is good enough. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but how do you wrestle with that? That's something I wrestle with, and I get in a gap sometimes because we are. If you look at the scoreboard, we're actually doing great, but as soon as I get there, sometimes I have a hard time enjoying it because I'm always already thinking ahead to the next one.
When is it ever good enough?
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, typical entrepreneur, just typical in my blood. I've always learned be relentless at being successful, but success to me, it never ends. The more people in business I can have an impact on and make successful, that's how I really gauge my success.
Sure.
But that never stops. And so I like to get involved with a lot of other businesses, share my success with other businesses outside of aerospace. If I can help other entrepreneurs grow who are really passionate about what they do as an artist, then that's my version of success. I think finance and positions and all that will all come in the back end.
Yep.
But if I really focus on people and the more people I can help make successful with my experience, that's my definition of success, but it will never be good enough. I mean, I'm relentless at being successful. I'll go sleepless nights just to outwork my competitors. And me being younger and climbing in the business, one of my rules was, if everyone goes to sleep and I stay up and work, I can beat this learning curve and learn an industry that I may not know too much about and conquer it. And so that might be a good thing for my personal life all the time, but it's done well and I haven't got tired yet.
So one of the things, so I took a similar approach growing our business, but one of the things that I found is for my team, like I had to be careful because I could burn them out and not intentionally, but not celebrate the victories enough for them. I don't know if you've mastered that or not, but it's something, and I would say that I care about people, and I believe similar philosophy to you. I want to make an impact on people's careers, lives. That's part of my overall vision, but I struggle with that a lot. Transparently, and not everybody wants to walk through the walls like I do,
And I get that from my team, and they're open with me, and that is one of my, I would say, challenges and admittedly a weakness, is I can't expect everyone to be as relentless as I am. And even though they do such a great job, all the people I work with, it's so rewarding to see them grow, and they get little wins like that, but I'm always, looking for the next goal for them. How do I promote them? How do I move them to a role they're happy with? How do I help them with work-life balance? Because obviously an entrepreneur and a business owner may not have a good perception of that. It's nonstop for me. That is a challenge. It will always be an ongoing challenge, but hopefully I'll figure out the solution for it, but it's not there yet.
So what does the next stage look for you? So looking ahead, right? Not being so what 3 years from now, what is your business life? What does that look like?
I want more divisions that we create under the business umbrella in the aviation world, but I also want to share my business success with other entrepreneurs in the Dallas area. And so I like to mentor and go talk at SMU grad school classes, and I really love to stay as involved as I can with other owners. And when I find ones that are really passionate about their product, I donate my time free to them to help them. And that could develop a fruitful partnership or relationship. And so as much as I can keep doing this, kind of running businesses, helping them grow, and helping people be better at what they do, that's kind of my 3-year goal. And that could be in aerospace or some other industry.
And so if you go to talk to them, what are the sort of basic business insights that you tell them that you've learned?
It's just be relentless success. Do not get into business because you want a job. You want to work for yourself or make money. You got to find something you're truly passionate about, a product, something. You have to be the artist. When I walk into a business meeting or a partnership talk, I admit I'm not the artist. You're the artist, but I'm going to help you be successful at business. Not all artists can run a business and be successful.
Sure.
But I tell folks who want to be entrepreneurs is find something you're passionate about. Don't create an app because you want to sell it and make money. It's going to be very hard to be successful. There's always case studies where they will be successful, but the odds are stacked against you. So I would say find something you're truly passionate about and attack it.
Okay. I like that.
Without the passion too, a lot of people when they hit that tough spot, they give up. The idea, the product may be fantastic, but if you don't have the passion, you can't
run
stay.
too quickly because it's not.
They go buy a franchise and they go, okay, I can make this money. If they do it for money, not that we don't want to make money as business folks. It's a lot harder to be successful if you don't have that emotion involved in the passion side of things.
Well, Suresh, thanks so much for being our guest today. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And for our listeners, please go to aerospaceqrd.com to learn more. Go to our website, which is nextlevelshow.com, to learn more about the show. And please also download us on the podcast. You can find us at The Next Level Show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have a great week.
Thanks for having me.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Stephen Nooner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.